Hello, fellow souls. You have now reached the channel of peace and gratitude. I am Anna Soul, and this is Living with Soul. And here we discuss all things transformation from victim to victor, one thought at a time. I am releasing an old identity and observing the birth of a new one. So in meditation, in my meditation practice, I practice the art of detachment. That is the state of observing oneself from the soul's perspective. You're detaching from your body consciousness, from your earthly and physical attachments. You're basically allowing yourself to free yourself from all that weighs you down. You're looking at yourself through the lens of your third eye. So I'm practicing that, and it's finally clicking. You know how they always say, if you're trying to establish a new habit, you want to become the type of person that will do the habit that you're seeking to add to your pattern. You want to become that type of person. You want to take on the identity of that kind of person, kind of like acting. That's where the fake it till you make it idea comes from. The act delulu. Delulu is the salulu, That's where that comes from. Now, in order to do that, you're going to have to learn how to release the old identity that you once had. Release the attachment to that identity. So, in my experience, I've incarnated in this lifetime through the perspective of being born into a community that strongly identifies with its culture. Like, we are fiercely proud. We hold very strong traditions, and a whole generation has immigrated to lands far away. And I'm experiencing the experience of the children of that generation. And as a first generation or second generation, whichever one it is, I'm also learning about the identity of a culture that isn't necessarily that of my family's, but is mine because I was born in a different country. There's a whole experience with that. Like, each of us going through life are experiencing different themes set up to help us grow in the spiritual level, in the spiritual sense. And this is mine. Anyways, I have to give you that context because it's the basis for why I grew up and took on the programming that I had to worry about what other people thought about me. I had to be consumed with anxiety about whether someone would know X, Y, and Z about me. I had to feel doubt about myself, that I could exist outside of the box that I was created to exist in. At least that's how it felt. And it's so interesting because this is what our mind can do. When we have any belief, it forms the foundation of our reality. Because I believe those things, when it came time to try something new, it was always a very difficult journey to establish some sort of footing, because I would take 2 steps forward and then 5 back because of that fear, because of all of the doubt, the shame, the guilt, all of that low vibration. It's like baggage. I was just carrying it up the mountain with me. So it's taking me some time, but now I'm past the stage of grieving, of anger, of blame, of sadness and victimhood. And I'm at the stage where I'm like, oh my God, I can actually close my eyes and feel what it is like to be in my own energy, to be in my own energy, to not be so consumed by what other people around me are thinking or doing, to be present within myself, aka regulating one's nervous system, aka Venusian upgrade, aka remembering connection to God. There are so many different ways of explaining these phenomena, depending on whichever background you're coming from. There's very little that actually separates us. So yeah, it's very interesting, and it is showing me that the magic truly is in enjoying the process. Like, for the first time, I'm also exploring what it's like to not worry about the outcome, to not be so focused on my goal and, having that tunnel vision and saying, if it doesn't happen like this, it doesn't mean anything, just enjoying the process of getting there, of meeting it, enjoying what it's like to, for the first time, feel confident, enjoying what it feels like to be joyful, to be authentic, to be free of burden. That old identity was so afraid to be herself, was so afraid to be different. And sometimes it became a little extreme, where you're almost trying to be different in an effort to show that you aren't. So you do too much, and then it's not authentic. Anyways, it's a journey. And to get to this point of being able to recognize that as a soul, any identity, any label that I believe that I categorize myself as is body conscious. It's a reflection of this external vessel, when the soul within is who I truly am. The soul is, a point of light that cannot be limited, that cannot be boxed into categories. Those labels are just dividers. They're just markers. They're ways of organizing data. But if this isn't what is real, if this isn't what lasts, then I'm wasting my energy by focusing on it. And for me, looking at life like this, it allows me to see that all of the fear and doubt that came with the beliefs of an identity that I don't even truly own is unnecessary. And it's easier for me to see myself trying something new, because I recognize that as a free, a pure, and a peaceful soul, I can do that. Now fast forward to now, actually maybe about a year ago, I took this course on Raja Yoga, and one of my teachers said these words: to play and to be light with virtue, to experiment with different virtues throughout my day and gift them to situations as they arose in my life. So if I was dealing with a manager, who's being a little extra critical, I could choose at the beginning of my day to play with the virtue of being humble. So in a situation where I felt like I wanted to engage in that karma and conflict, I could play with the virtue of humility. I could play as the queen of humility town, of humility land, and take on that energy and radiate that and contribute that to the situation. Knowing that my true essence is in connection to a much higher energy, a much higher supreme light. And so I didn't need to take whatever's going on in this physical, world so seriously. I don't need to take it so personally. It's interesting. I think because I come from a background of people who do not share these same beliefs, I'm constantly checking in my mind to see how it sounds to people who are not familiar with what I'm saying. And I can hear how nonsensical it may sound. I think because at one point I probably was one of those people. But the reason why this makes sense is not necessarily because you have to believe in exactly what it is that I'm saying, but to show you that what you believe has power. What you believe changes everything. And so if you are able to focus your energy, focus your attention on regaining some of that power back, there's nothing that you couldn't do. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel, and we'll talk soon. Om Shanti.